Yeah, welcome to Bronze Age Workshop. Today we want to cast a Bronze Age anvil, so stay tuned. This looks amazing. Good impression. Check that you always use half of the mold. One half of the mold for one half of your pattern, so that later you have this casting the line here in the center of your pattern. Okay, now it's time to add our sprue, the riser. So the mold is now ready. Let me explain what you see. Of course, we have here our pattern, impression on both sides from the pattern. Added here the riser to vent the air out of our mold. So this hole goes through the casting sand to vent our the void when it gets filled with metal. Here we have a small reservoir. So the idea is when we will fill this with liquid metal, this will also fill with liquid metal, and this will keep feeding liquid metal to our horn during the cooling step. And also here we have this big reservoir here, so this will ensure that we keep feeding hot metal to the mold during the cooling process. And most anvils in the Bronze Age were quite small compared to modern standards, and you would think they are only suitable for working jewelry, but actually this was the most common type of anvil, most typical size of an anvil in the Bronze Age. So maybe 3 inches, 1 inch broad, about 300 grams, and this was almost certainly inserted in some kind of wood, so that you can make up for the light weight of this anvil. And yeah, this was then used for working cold working edges, for riveting, etc. Usually they not only had a flat surface but also a horn, like modern anvils for bending metal or working on sockets. And so this was typical size. And then there were some larger sized anvils like this one. This is about 800 grams, about 4 by 4 inches, and the surface, the flat surface is 1.5 inches square. Like this one, this was inserted in some kind of a socket. Yeah, socket can be made from metal. This is a lead socket or a heavy wood socket, depending on the application. And these anvils are very suitable for working bronze, because usually you only cold work your metal, so you do not require a heavy hand anvil. Today we want to cast such a kind of anvil, so the larger one, and this requires about 1.5 kilogram of liquid metal. We will cast this anvil from 12% tin bronze, and we add 1% of lead. Still smoking hot. Wow, this looks amazing. So So what we got, this looks very good. And yeah, what to say, you see here, well, so you see this depression here, this from the contraction when the metal cools down. So to prevent this contraction going into your pattern, you have to ensure that you have a thick piece or a good volume of metal here on top of your pattern, so the reduction is only in the piece that you already will later remove here. And also here on your tip, you see this volume there was a void, this was filled with metal, and during contraction the metal was sucked back. And to prevent that this goes completely back into your pattern, you also have to make sure that on critical portions of your mold you have enough metal left, so that the contraction does not damage your casting object. Also up here, this was not that critical, but you see here the surface is very good, no depression. So once we have grinded this off, it should make a good surface, and we have a nice bronze anvil. So